Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video, this time for the British Tier 3 Tech Tree Battleship, the Bellerophon. I was looking at my video of the Dreadnought because a user had commented, or a viewer had commented on that video, and I was just kind of poking around at the Dreadnought, and I ended up seeing that the Bellerophon was a Dreadnought class ship, or was derived from the Dreadnought. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'd never played the Bellerophon in my life, and I was looking at the wiki for it, which I don't know what's up with the wiki, but it's been down for like days. So I've been using the archive.org backup of it. But anyway, the wiki was like, oh, this is basically the Konig Albert, but better. And I was like, wait, them's fighting words. The Konig Albert is the best battleship at Tier 3, hands down. And I was Googling and I was looking at some Reddit posts, and people were like, oh, yeah, no, I mean, who would play the Konig Albert anymore? Play the Bellerophon. And I was like, what is this? What are you talking about? Really? And now I'm not in a position to judge after one game, but I will say this game went really well. Unfortunately, this game is mostly bots. There's a few weird things about this game, but one of them is I think this is the first game I've ever won against this many bots where I didn't sink a single enemy ship. Part of that might be because I kept getting citadels on ships, but not quite killing them. And then I figured like, well, I'll leave them to my friendly bots, and they took care of it for me. This is a weird game because, yeah, like I said, we're not going to kill every ship on the enemy team, but we're going to kill, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them. And my bot friends are going to do all of that killing. I'll do some good damage. I think I ended up with like 70k damage. Anyway, the Bellerophon seems like a good ship. Yeah. I looked up a bunch of the stats for the Konig Albert and the Bellerophon on ShipTool, both before and after the game, but I'm a little suspicious of ShipTool. This is actually the first time this has ever happened to me, but it says on ShipTool that the range of the Bellerophon's guns is 15 kilometers, but it's not. It's 13.7. So I don't know what happened there, and now I'm a little suspicious because it also said, because I thought that dispersion felt really good, and ShipTool tells me that the Sigma on the Bellerophon is 2.0, which is higher than usual. It's usually 1.8, especially down here at Tier 3. But I am suspicious. I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe somebody comment in the comments if you know for sure. I couldn't find a definitive source, which is, again, like why Wargaming doesn't just show us this stuff in the UI of the game just fogs me. But anyway, that's a conversation that we've already had, and I'm sure we'll have a million times more. Just one of those recurring things. It's like very strange. Anyway, yeah. This was a good game. The guns feel really good. You know, one thing I will say about the Konig Albert is the range of the guns is really bad. It's 11.9 kilometers. And even at that, the dispersion is so bad that you really can't use the guns at 11.9 kilometers. They never hit much of anything. So that is an issue with the Konig Albert. The wiki also tells me the Bellerophon is the fastest battleship at this tier. I don't know if that's true. It seemed pretty good, maneuverable. It goes 22.5 knots apparently, which might be the fastest. I mean, I can't think of a faster one off the top of my head. It's got 10 guns, but you can only shoot 8 at a time because it has one of these old school layouts where the 2 of them are on opposite sides and they can't turn all the way around. Yeah, I got a bunch of citadels on cruisers, but then, you know, every battleship can get citadels on cruisers. That's not hard to do. The HE has good alpha. It feels, yeah, like I said, maneuverable. You know, I tanked some damage from the other player near the end of this game, and that felt good as well. Armor seemed to hold up well. Yeah, I'm curious to play the Bellerophon more. I didn't have time right now to play more. Just had to kind of like make do with this one video. Always tough late at night to get games with too many players in them anyway, but I'd be curious to see what this ship is like against a bunch of players. Yeah, this is just one of those games where, you know, you get a little bit lucky, you make your own luck, you do some damage. This is a more, I mean, I've been having some really good low tier games And I guess this is like a regression to the mean. I mean, this is a more standard low tier experience, you know, maybe not quite as exciting, quite as interesting, unfortunately, but does give me the opportunity to test out these guns on some cruisers, and they definitely performed. It would make sense if the Sigma was 2.0. I would think that I would have heard that before. That feels like a fake. That feels like fake news. I think we're going to point them out here. I think that's what happens. Like, they don't collect any points at all from caps this game, and then we're just going to sink enough ships. For those that don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but World of Warships has an interesting point victory system. It's based on 0 to 1,000, and there's multiple ways to win a game, but two of the ways to win are to get to 1,000 points before your enemy does, before the other team does, at which point you instantly win, or to get the enemy team down to 0 points, at which point you also instantly win. I would say actually both of those things are slightly uncommon, but far more common is to get to 1,000 points. I just anecdotally, I'd say maybe like 20 to 25% of games I play in, one team or the other gets to 1,000 points, and maybe like 1 or 2% of the games I play in, one team gets to 0 points. And usually that's because you start with some points. I think it's 200, but also you get points from any caps that you have, even for short periods of time. And so to have truly 0 points means you lost like 4 ships and didn't kill any of the enemy ships and never got any points from caps. And actually, in a number of different maps, you start with a cap that's generating some points, not this one. So that's what's going to happen here. They're gonna lose so many ships. They're going to lose more ships. I think they lose 4 more ships than they get. There's a fairly complicated system. The ships are worth roughly the same number of points, but battleships are worth more than destroyers, and every time you sink a ship, the other team loses points, but you also gain points. It's actually a little bit complicated. I'm not quite sure why it needs to be quite so complicated, but it does mean that once in a while, one team just gets overwhelmed so quickly that they go down to 0 points. So got a little lucky here in this one, which is fine. Better be lucky than good. That's what my dad always said. Yeah, I would like to play the Bellerophon more. That's one of the cool things about this series. I have this short list of ships that overperformed and interested me, and I don't always have time to keep playing them right in that moment, but I'm making a list. Maybe someday I'll get to go back around to ships that I played before and play some of these ones that I found interesting on the first playthrough. I think at some point I'm going to go through and just sort by PR and replay some of the games where I just played very poorly and don't feel like I really showcased the ship. But then once I'm done with that, I want to play some of these ships where I was intrigued, but didn't really get enough information in the moment. But at least I get to show you guys this tier 3 game. I know some of you are really into these lower tier games, and I think they're cool. I've been having some great games at low tier recently. I don't know that this is one of them necessarily, but yeah, definitely having some really fun experiences. There just seems to be more players these days, and I assume that's still just the Yavuz and Tegatov effect, but I don't know. I'm not sure quite what that is, but I'm here for it. I think it's great. So yeah, 70k damage, 0 kills, kind of a slightly odd tier 3 game. Bellerophon seems fun. Guns are really good. Maneuverability is good. Armor seems good. Can't complain. Would like to try this one out more, but not right now. For right now, I will see you guys in the next video.